Lamar Jackson and the 7-6 Ravens are coming to town, and it's going to be a matchup between the two top dual threat QBs in the league. But as we take a little step back to see what we did last week against the New England Patriots, we picked up a big-time win to move to 7-6 on the season. A huge victory to put us over 500 as Thomas DeShong put up 3 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, of course, with a typical 100-yard day. And Jacoby Myers had one of his better games of the season. But it is a big-time win for us to maybe inch us one step closer to a potential playoff appearance. And another big thing that happened in this Patriots game that you will see any second right now is that Kalen Shanny, a kick return touchdown. Even in the simulation, Kalen Shanny still running kicks back. That's his 3rd kick return touchdown of the season. But as we jump forward now to the present time, 7-6 Ravens, 7-6 Raiders. Big matchup to determine what goes down in the AFC playoff picture as the two top dual threat QBs in the league are going head to head. It will be Lamar Jackson versus Thomas DeShong up next. And you see Lamar Jackson coming out of the field with the Ravens offense, and he has been in MVP form this season. There's a reason the Ravens are in the playoff hunt, and Lamar Jackson, 25 touchdowns, 4 picks, not to mention all the things he does on the ground. And he is having arguably his best season since his MVP campaign, but Max Crosby wastes no time trying to make a case for his Defensive Player of the Year candidacy with a sack on the first play. Lamar Jackson now 2nd down. He's rolling around, running the football, and Lamar Jackson gets loose early on, and we're going to have to contain Lamar. He gets 24 yards. This is an RPO, first throw of the game. Actually gets it off this time, and Lamar completes it for 9 yards. Now pistol formation midfield. Lamar read option, and Lamar catches a key block, and Lamar Jackson out in the open field, the 1-man to beat, and he gets tracked down by Nate Hobbs, but he gets to the 13-yard line, and Lamar Jackson's already running wild as they get a false start to set them back a little bit, but that does not really matter right now as they're already in the red zone in just the first 2 minutes of this game, as Lamar will hand it off to J.K. Dobbins, and Dobbins will get some of those yards back, but it'll be 2nd and 12. Dobbins taking the carry, and he's able to squeeze through the blocks and get himself to the 7-yard line to set up 3rd and 4. Lamar to the air, and Jackson's going to throw on the run. He's got his man, 1st down, and now pistol formation. Lamar Jackson, read option, sheds the tackle of Max Crosby, and it's a touchdown, Lamar Jackson. And the Raiders now have to respond as they go with the ground game. We are going to show our quarterback's legs as Thomas DeShong. He gets 8 yards to start. And now we go read option once again, trying to flip it out, and it's a fumble, and the Ravens pick it up. And the Ravens, I think they have shown that they have the better running quarterback right now. Lamar Jackson's still the master of it as he throws to Tim Patrick, newly acquired receiver, and he gets to the 6-yard line as they're already threatening to go up 14-0 as Tyree Wilson takes down Dobbins. He's at the 5-yard line, 2nd and goal. They go Dobbins once again, and Dobbins meets Marietta in the middle. Now 2 yards to go. Lamar with a man in motion, hand to Dobbins, and that's a touchdown, Ravens. And they take no time to go up 14-0 as now the Raiders start in a big-time hole. DeShong has a screen set up for Jaden Sharu, who cuts outside, and Jaden Sharu gets the 1st down, a little bit more than that. He's one of the league's leaders in yards after the catch, and showing why on that play as Josh Jacobs takes the carry. He gets taken down by Patrick Queen, but not before getting 5 yards as they go back to him. Jacobs tries to lower his shoulder, but not quite 1st down yardage, 3rd and 1. They go back to Jacobs 3 straight times, and he has the 1st. They rely on Josh Jacobs so much as DeShong now will try to tuck and run, and he's sacked by Coleman, the 1st-round pick for the Ravens. It's 2nd and 14. Now play action rollout. DeShong stops, throws. He's got Sharu, and he overshoots it. It's going to be 3rd and 14 now. DeShong will throw outside, and there's a flag on the play. A lot of contact there on Shanny, and they're going to call pass interference and a bailout a little bit for the Raiders offense as Marlon Humphrey gets charged with that one. Now we got 1st down all the way at the 34-yard line. Josh Jacobs gets 3 yards. Pistol formation, play action. DeShong will try to immediately bail and run, and Maybe should have had a bit more patience there. It's third down now. DeShong will throw to Myers, and he can't hang on. Tough play to make. Not the best throw, but it's going to set up a fourth down field goal try, and the pass interference does at least net us some points as Lamar and the offense take over. They go Mark Andrews with the catch, and Mark Andrews is going to be another great tight end that we're going to have to deal with. But the only thing stopping Mark Andrews on that play was his own offensive lineman as it's incomplete. Now draw play on third down, and Devin Bush makes the run stop to force a punt. And now the Raiders, as the first quarter winds down, will have the football down by 11. A rare counter run play from the Raiders as Josh Jacobs does not go very far. We don't run many counters, but 3rd and 2 as we have Sharu in motion. You know what that means. Sharu with the pop pass. He does not quite get the first down. It's 4th and inches. Raiders send the offense back out there. We are going for it. 4th and inches handoff, and that's going to be Josh Moss, the running back slash fullback, picking it up. Now we hand it off to Jacobs, and he's going to get himself 4 yards. A consistent 3 to 4 yards for Jacobs this game. Every time he touches the ball is DeShong. Very dangerous running around. He thankfully got rid of it. 3rd and 6. DeShong will go outside and just missing Shanny. A miscommunication. Timing was a bit off, it seemed. Ravens ball, play action, and Max Crosby comes flying in for the safety. And that was an incredibly risky play call as the Ravens, with Max Crosby flying off the edge, decided to drop Lamar into his own end zone. And on the first play of the Raiders' drive, they got Michael Mayer for a big gain. And now already at about midfield, DeShong will throw cross field. Jacoby Myers has it, and Jacoby Myers has it to the 27, a gain of 24 yards. As DeShong will try to step up, he gets sacked by Patrick Queen, and Queen celebrating the 2-yard loss as 2nd and 12. We got DeShong throwing outside, wide open is Josh Jacobs to the 10-yard line. He got free. Jacobs now lowers his shoulder, runs over a man, and he gets the 4-yard line. Now DeShong hands it. He got Josh Jacobs running over a man again, and that's going to be a touchdown, Raiders, as Josh Jacobs breaks a couple of tackles on those last 2 plays, and suddenly it is 14-12. Raiders only down by 2. J.K. Dobbins with the carry and making a man miss. He gets first down yardage. Lamar making an adjustment at the line. Pistol formation. He takes the snap. He's throwing, and he's got Rashad Bateman for a first down. And Lamar Jackson now stretch play. There's a man off the edge, and that is Devin Bush, who's been pretty decent in run defense so far today. And speaking of great run defense, we got Tyree Wilson on the left edge. Now it's going to be 3rd and 16. Lamar's going to have to make a play, and he does just that. What a throw, but a false start will set the Ravens back once again as a second time in this first half. A new set of downs is turned from 1st and 10 to 1st and 15. But on that 1st and 15, Lamar Jackson miscommunication with Mark Andrews, who stopped on his route. Second down, they go with J.K. Dobbins, who breaks a tackle and gets 14 yards. 3rd and 1 now. Play action. Lamar will get sacked, and that's Tyree Wilson off the edge. And a lot of these play actions have not gone their way as Justin Tucker will miss a kick. A rare Justin Tucker miss sets the Raiders up in good field position as DeShong on the read option. It seems like the Raiders are not giving up on the run game even after that early fumble from DeShong. But the Ravens have not ran Lamar in a couple of drives. It's surprising. And DeShong's going to take a shot deep. He had Michael Mayer wide open underneath, but they're going to send the offense back out there on 4th down. Read option. DeShong keeps, and Thomas DeShong cuts to the outside. And a bold call keeping the run game out there for 4th and 4. DeShong, play action. Great throw to Kalen Shanny. And they're at the 13-yard line with a minute to go. And under a minute now. We got DeShong on the read option. He's going to go wide outside. He gets out of bounds. Michael Mayer's injured, so we got to have an injury timeout anyway. DeShong, slant route, touchdown. Jaden Sharu. Just like that, the Raiders 19 unanswered points, and they are on top with a little time to go. It's Lamar Jackson to throw, and he almost gets picked off by Southward. Now second down. Lamar drops the throw. And this time he is picked up. And that's going to be Nate Hobbs on the interception. Lamar got real risky with the football. And the Raiders now have the football with the 24-yard line. 19 seconds to go. DeShong, is he going to take a shot to the end zone? No. He's going to check it down to Josh Jacobs. We burn a timeout. Not much time to go. But DeShong will step up. He's going to run it. And DeShong is just going to set up a field goal try. And there's Daniel Carlson to knock it through. And the Raiders are going to end the half with 22 unanswered points. And a early 14-0 deficit turns into a 22-14 lead. As after that first drive and then the fumble afterwards, the Raiders have been in control and, dare I say, dominating this game. A safety from the defense, some nice scoring drives, and DeShong making some fourth down conversions. It's great to see that this team is not only playing a good game, but playing a good game against a really good Ravens team. We will see if we can keep it up, though, in the second half, as this would be a big-time win to potentially go to 8-6. Raiders ball to start the second half is on the first play. You know where we're going with Thomas DeShong keeping the football. Read option is DeShong with 7 yards, and Sharu is down, and he is struggling to get up. He comes off the field as now we go read option. Flip it out to Josh Jacobs. There's a flag on the play, but Jacobs doesn't know that as he's running through defenders. Unfortunately, this one is coming back. A hold on the play will set the Raiders back a very far distance, as that was Leo Wilcox, the rookie. 3rd and 12 now as DeShong has an empty set. He's throwing one deep to Shanny, and Kalen Shanny. He took the top off the defense, and Kalen Shanny has it all the way for a touchdown. And every couple of weeks, it seems like Kalen Shanny makes a huge play at a key point in the game. And the Raiders are up 29-14 as Mark Andrews has the catch to start the Ravens half. And the Ravens thought they were getting off the field. Instead, they are getting a 2-score deficit, as the first time since the first drive they've ran it with Lamar Jackson. As they go now read option, this time Dobbins has the handoff, and it's only going to be 2nd and 10 as Dobbins once again breaks a tackle now, and Dobbins will set them up with a 3rd and 2. Lamar out of the pistol. They've loved this formation all game as they go Mark Andrews, but he doesn't quite get it, and the Ravens conservatively punt the football as Josh Jacobs takes a stretch, and Josh Jacobs, number 32 over there, Marcus Williams, has had a really hard day trying to tackle Josh Jacobs, as I think he's missed like every single one of them except that one right there. That might be his first tackle on Jacobs, as they go with a run to DeShong, and DeShong, where to go there? 3rd and 6 under center, and DeShong will drop to throw. Short drop, he throws outside, and he's got the completion, and that's going to be a first down. But Baltimore wants to challenge the play. They don't think he got his feet in bounds, but I would like to disagree, and it will stand, as it will be a first down, and Josh Jacobs on the shotgun toss will have himself a 7-yard run. We move to 2nd down now as play action rollout. DeShong, quick throw underneath, and Michael Mayer's got it. First down, they give it to him, maybe a little bit of a generous spot, as now we go read option, and is blown up in the backfield. 2nd and 14, play action. DeShong picking up the block, and now he's throwing one deep. I think he got a little bumped as he was throwing it and couldn't get all the power he wanted to on it. It's going to be 3rd and 14 as DeShong rolling, and he's just barely caught by Dorrance Armstrong. It's going to be 4th and long. Ravens now take the football, as it will be a handoff to Dobbins. Great spin move from Dobbins, and J.K. Dobbins. That is a great run and a great move from Dobbins as they throw in. Lamar and Mark Andrews have been off target on a couple of these, as now they're not off target here, as that was Lamar throwing it to Zay Flowers for a big gain, and J.K. Dobbins back taking the handoff, and he's got nowhere to go. That was Devin Bush again. But a nice run stop as Jackson will throw. This time he's got Mark Andrews, and they finally are able to connect. 3rd and 2, pistol formation. They go read option inside. It's Dobbins for the first down once again. And the Ravens, as the 3rd quarter is just a minute to go, trying to make this a 1-score game, and Lamar just gets rid of that football. It's going to be 2nd and 10. And Lamar dropping to throw. And he's going to step up and throw, and that's going to be a flag on the play, some contact. And it's going to be roughing the passer. Lamar ran himself right into a defender. I think it was hard to avoid getting a hit on Lamar, but the refs do not care as the quarterback was, thrown to the ground and touched it. It's going to be first down and essentially first and goal. It's going to be pretty hard to get a first down in this situation. They got 7 yards to go, and it's going to be play action. Lamar is sacked. Max Crosby again. And third down and long. Lamar's going to throw it out of bounds, and that is going to be another drive derailing play from Max Crosby, who is really making a case for Defensive Player of the Year this year, as it's going to be Raider football with a 12-point lead as the fourth quarter is underway. And DeShong on the read option doesn't have anywhere to go, unfortunately. It's going to be third down and 8. DeShong check down to Jacobs. Can he make a man miss? And no, he cannot. Kyle Hamilton brings him down. And the Ravens take over the football as they are in desperate need of a touchdown as Mark Andrews breaks a tackle. And it takes Devin Bush and Moore to bring him down. First and 10. They got a read option. Once again, they have loved going to this pistol. 2 guys in the backfield running inside. And here they are again. Pistol, 2 guys in the backfield and another run inside. And they know that our interior D-line is really weak. And they feel they can still afford to run the ball down by 2 scores, but occasionally you're going to hit a throw like that to Tim Patrick, and it's going to set them up at the 22-yard line. Lamar to throw, and there's Mark Andrews breaking a tackle, and just like that, the Ravens take no time to drive down the field, and with 7 to go, it's a 1-score game, and the Ravens now are the team scoring points unanswered, as we got to hold on to this lead for 7 minutes as DeShong will just run it conservatively. Don't want him throwing a dangerous ball. He's done that a couple of times this year. As DeShong now on third down, floats it for Michael Mayer, and it's too far out of his reach. He's going to be taken out of bounds. And now Dobbins, they can really run the ball. 6 minutes to go. Down by 1 score, and they're already near midfield as Lamar will throw it to Andrews. Knocked away as Lamar and Andrews are finally connecting in this fourth quarter, and that's a great play on the football. It's going to be third and 10. Lamar to throw, and he's got his man, and it's caught for a first down. Tim Patrick holding on to it. It's going to be handing it off now. Dobbins, he's blown up by Max Crosby again. Second and 12. Now Dobbins has nowhere to go again, and then Lamar's going to have to make a play with his arm. Lamar is going to try to run around, and he gets hit again, and it's going to be incomplete. Ravens have to punt the football, and now they're going to rely on the defense to make a stop as DeShong takes a read option for a first down, and now DeShong is getting his legs going, and Thomas DeShong dives down, make sure he stays in bounds this time as DeShong once again with the football. 3 straight runs with him. 2-minute warning hits. Jacobs now, the league's #1 rushing offense, is not the offense you're going to have to want to stop in these situations as they're going to throw outside on third down, and it's incomplete. The Raiders trusted the arm of DeShong, and even though they could have ran it maybe and set up a 4th and short try if you don't get it, they wanted to throw, it didn't work out. Now it's going to be up to the defense to make a play as Lamar, you don't want a repeat of what happened in Atlanta, so we got to stop Lamar as they are, dinking and dunking their way down the field. They're taking their time as another short throw to Dobbins, and they are really being patient with it. 49 seconds to play as Lamar will throw outside to a wide open Mark Andrews. He's got to get out of bounds, but he's not able to. Great tackle, preventing him from getting out of bounds. There's 30 seconds to play as Lamar will throw, and he's going to take a shot, and it's swatted away by Southward. Nice play, 4th and inches. They got to get a completion here. Quick throw. They just wanted to get the first down, but they have to burn their final timeout to do so. 49-yard line. Lamar to throw, and he's going to step up, realizes that he can't run. He throws it out of bounds, and Lamar now has to throw again outside. caught, and he gets out of bounds. It's going to be 10 seconds to play. They have maybe another 2 shots at the end zone as Jackson will take a lot of time and just throw it out of bounds. He did not like it. He wants to set up for one final play. Lamar Jackson for the win. Ravens drop him back. Lamar will heave it in the end zone, and it's going to be knocked down, and the Raiders pick up the win. They hold on, and the Raiders have the big time win late in the season to move to 8-6 and push themselves one step closer to a playoff appearance. And the Ravens now are in a situation where they're going to have to fight a little bit harder if they're going to want to get into the playoffs at 7-7. And it was a great performance from this team after that awful start. We go down 14-0 in the first half of the first quarter. And this team goes out there, they score 22 unanswered, they take a lead into the first half, and then hit a deep bomb to Kalen Shanny. It was our only score of the second half, but it was just enough. The defense, I thought, played a better game than they have played all season. Unfortunately, Jaden Sharu will be injured, but now we head to the college football update. This is your college football update for weeks 11 and 12 of the college football season. And as you see at the top of the boards, USC, UCLA, TCU remain unchanged as the top 3 teams. But the number 4 team in the country took a hit as Iowa State in the big time matchup between them and Texas. They fall. Texas, who won the championship for the Big 12 last year, takes it over Iowa State, and Iowa State has now had 2 big losses to Texas in the past 2 years, and now Texas finds themselves in a position to where if they can win their final game and maybe win the conference championship, they could be finding themselves in a college football playoff. And we had another pretty big upset, as despite the fact that Ohio State had been on a bit of a cold stretch, losing 2 of their last 3 games, they figured it out. They went on the road at Minnesota and picked up a big-time win over the number 7 Gophers. Minnesota had shocked the world by beating Penn State and starting off a 9-1 start to their season. But Ohio State made sure that that did not continue, as the Gophers' dreams of a college football playoffs are essentially dashed. And even though Ohio State doesn't really have hopes of a college football playoffs, they find themselves back up at number 12 in the polls. Elsewhere in the college football world, we had TCU taking down Texas A&M, as Texas A&M continues to struggle to get back into that top 15 status. And we had another little upset in week 12 as unranked Boston College took down Miami, who was number 10, trying to climb back up the polls. Unfortunately for them, they are now stuck at 15, and an ACC title game is looking like their best chance at making some noise in the college football world this year. As we look ahead now to next week, in the final 2 weeks of the college football season, we will see games like USC versus Arizona, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Clemson, Ohio State, and Michigan, of course, that big game to end the season. USC versus UCLA as well, the number 1 and number 2 teams, probably the biggest game in USC-UCLA history, going down the final week of the season along with Ohio State, Michigan, and of course we got Kentucky, LSU taking place. But those are 2 massive games, USC, UCLA, Ohio State, Michigan, to close this season, and we'll see how that affects the college football world, as obviously when you got the 2 top teams going at it, it's going to shake things up quite a bit. Let's get into some players, as we got a really good group of players to talk about today. Up first, we got cornerback out of Penn State, Harry Scott II. And honestly, looking at how I graded him out, I think I'm underselling him a little bit. I said mid-first round, and honestly, if I had to go back and, change that a little bit, I think he does lean a bit more towards a top 10, top 8 type pick. But I was a little cautious with my grading of Harry Scott because, if you want to look at some of the in-depth statistics of the Penn State defense, who has had arguably the best defense in the nation this year, when you have Dexter Parker coming off the edge and just a whole group of great guys, and even last year they had a couple of nice players taken in the draft, the time to throw is basically lowest in the country. I mean, quarterbacks that face Penn State's defense don't have a whole lot of time to throw. And obviously, if you're a cornerback, you don't have to hold up in coverage as much, but I don't think that really takes away that much from the talent of Harry Scott. Now, you're in your evaluation of him, you can say maybe, well, he didn't have to hold up a lot in coverage, and if you want a negative on him, he's up and down, he has some inconsistent stretches, but the talent is there. And if there's gonna be a team that just says, you know what, we can look past some of the inconsistent stretches, we just look at the talent. He's maybe the most talented straight up cover corner in this draft class, yes, even over Ellis Travis. Ellis Travis is a great man-to-man guy, but he's kind of in zone. I think Harry Scott is a lot better in just overall man zone. He fits a bit more everywhere, and I think he plays the ball extremely well, of course. 4-year starter. If you want an experienced guy who knows how to, go up against all the top receivers in the nation, Harry Scott has been there, done that. He gets physical when he has to. Despite only being 180 pounds, he will play physical, which he's got that pit bull mentality of a guy who plays a lot bigger than his size, despite being 6'2", a little frail, a little skinny, but he plays up to it. I feel like also to be an elite corner in the league, you have to have this psycho mentality of just being such an instigator and such a personality. He has that personality. He's that trash talker. He's that, guy who gets in your face. He'll start getting into your head. He'll make some noise, and I'm not talking about making noise in the good way. He'll make some noise in the way coaches don't like, and I put it as a negative. Some people like that kind of mentality, but I think the negative comes from he'll go a little overboard. He'll get some penalties. He'll get some 15-yarders. He's been ejected from a game before. So if you can kind of hone that in, get him to use it well. I mean, he's gotten in receivers' heads before. He messes with them. He's a great corner, and the talent is all there. You just have to put it together with Harry Scott. Back to the offensive line, and what do you know? It is Texas back at it again with another great offensive lineman. This was the guard who was starting opposite of A.J. Perkins, who is obviously an elite lineman prospect and is probably having a lot of success down there in Miami as we speak right now. But Peebles is, I think, got one of the more accurate comparisons in this draft. He's Elijah Vera Tucker, basically, and Vera Tucker was the guy who went in the first round when he came out, and Peoples will probably be the same. I would be really shocked if he didn't go in the first round. He is big, he is mauler, run blocker, he pushes people around, he's got good discipline too, as well as, something you're going to get with these Texas offensive linemen. They're very disciplined, they just don't make a whole lot of mistakes. Now, when you get him in one-on-one pass blocking, he was the guy who, in the pass blocking situations, the center would help double team. A.J. Perkins, despite coming out not being an elite pass blocker, he still held his own and was able to cover anyone one-on-one. Basically, whenever the center double teamed, they double teamed on the guy Peebles had. So if he can get some help from the center, get some double teams, he shouldn't be exposed, but you don't want him ideally on one-on-one situations against a great D lineman in the league, and he's going to have to get better at that, but he can be a really nice player, and of course he's going to be a great run blocker, baseline. I guess another knock, if you want to use on him, is because he was opposite A.J. Perkins, because he was, on a Texas offensive line that was so stacked. I mean, he was the third or fourth best lineman they've had in the past couple of years. I mean, he's going to be the third or fourth first-round pick in the past 2 drafts, too, at that offensive line. So, I mean, it's not, the strongest guy on that line, and you might be looking at him as a potential weaker link on a great offensive line, and some people just may not like that. He wasn't the anchor that Perkins was. And, he's not a guy you want on the edge. He's not a guy you want moving around, where Perkins could move around and could get in the inside, could really do just about anything. Peebles, you very much just want smash mouth on the inside. He's going to be a nice player. You got to get his pass blocking up, but he's going to be at baseline a really reliable, starting caliber, great run blocking, disciplined guard. That's at very least, that's what you're getting. And at best, could be getting a whole lot better of a player. In this upcoming draft class, there are only 2 quarterbacks that are slated to be first-round top guy quarterbacks. We already talked about Lance Bowen. I wanted to save Darrell Parker for the end of the season, as he is the second quarterback and he is TCU's very own. You've seen him in the Heisman candidacy all year long, so I wanted to kind of give you an idea that he does very much exist and he is very much a great player. But in this situation for Darrell Parker, his projection is a little sporadic, I feel like, because when you're looking at in the pipeline who's going to be needing a quarterback this upcoming year, I mean, obviously the season's not over, so we don't know everything that's going to go down. There's not a whole lot of teams that are in desperate need of quarterbacks because the last couple of years has been a lot of hits, and you don't know where Darrell Parker is going to go. Obviously, Washington, they're set. Byron Rowe hit, and we are pretty happy with Thomas DeShong. I'm pretty sure the Broncos, who are playoff bound, are pretty happy with Jean-Marc Aldrick. So, that's 3 for 3 potentially on quarterbacks last year. And the year before that, I mean, you'd like to think CJ Stroud is doing his thing in Houston, and Bryce Young, they're not going to give up on. And, so it comes down to what teams are really in need of quarterbacks. So really, he could go as high as top 5 or low as the 20s. I don't know where he's going to go exactly, but I mean, wherever he does go, going to be getting a great player, potentially. I think he's a very interesting player, and I really like the comp for him because I think he runs a bit more than he did in the NFL. But Donovan McNabb, if you remember him in Philadelphia. Try not to remember his Minnesota or Washington days, but remember him in the prime of Philadelphia, taking the Eagles all the way to NFC championships and even a Super Bowl. He was pretty good in his time and one of the more mobile quarterbacks in the league for his time. Also had an absolute cannon of an arm. And, Darrell Parker's got that cannon, very big, physical, just not like Byron Rowe hit in the Ben Roethlisberger archetype where he's going to be shedding out of a lot of sacks, but he's just a tanky quarterback, but he doesn't quite possess the elite speed or, moves or athleticism as maybe someone like Cam Newton did. So I'd say he's more athletic than Big Ben, less athletic than Cam Newton. He kind of falls in the middle. So that's where I pulled McNabb from, and he does get run quite a bit at TCU. I don't think he's going to be running a lot in the NFL comparatively. Goal line situations, he's going to be pretty good, but he doesn't have the speed to quite separate from some of these more faster NFL players. But, now focusing on his arm, I think he should be really, really nice as a, higher floor player because he does keep the ball out of danger, does not turn the ball over a whole lot. Last year he only turned the ball over 6 times through the air, and this year he's on track to also keep it under, double-digit interceptions. So it's going to be a guy who is pretty smart and keeps the ball out of harm's way, on top of having a really raw physical arm that can just push the ball down the field. Now, he is raw. I think that is where we come back to. He has a raw arm, raw athlete. In TCU, they didn't ask him to push the ball down the field a lot because they do, run the ball, quick throw, short passes. When he has to throw the ball deep, he's pretty successful, but he doesn't have a lot of experience doing that. He needs reps. As an athlete, like I said, kind of in between great and decent. He's a pretty good athlete, but he's a little raw, and his playmaking, and he needs to get a bit more of a feel for the game. He needs to get a bit more of a feel. I think he seems a little scared to, go off script and play out of structure and, move out of the pocket. I think he plays a little scared at times, but I think that's more just the coaching at TCU, just kind of honing him in and not really allowing him to show what he's fully capable of. I think that's something that's going to get fixed in the NFL. But there's a lot to like about Darrell Parker. He is definitely a more risky quarterback in this class. But if you put him in the right system, you put him with the right coaches, the right guys that can really figure him out, I think he could have a nice player. But there's every chance if he goes to the wrong place, it could be a disaster. So you have to watch out for that. But Darrell Parker is going to be an interesting player to keep out for, in this NFL, where he could end up in a bad team like Tampa Bay, could end up in a good team. I don't know where he's going to end up, but I would hope he goes to a place that can use him well. But that will do it for this episode, as we have 3 games left in the season, and I will tell you right now, we are going to be simulating the next game against the Los Angeles Chargers. And as the season comes to an end, it'll really depend on what happens in the next episode. As we simulate the next game, we are going to then have a game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and if we win that one, we're going to kind of see how the playoff picture looks. If we kind of get knocked out of the playoffs and we maybe lose the next 2 weeks and are out, then we don't really have a need to play the final game. But it really just depends on what happens and how our playoff hopes are, really alive. We're not going to win the division, so it's just us fighting for a wild card spot. So all I know is we're playing the Chiefs next week, and I will see you in the next episode for that game.